Hi guys, Mike here, and today we're going to have a look at these two devices. We have here the Apple iPad 3 and next to it there is the Asus Transformer Prime TF201. Both very good devices, some of the best right now on the market, and still both with their own group of potential buyers. This clip is going to tell you which one is better than the other and should tell you which one is more suited to your basic needs. So have a look at the clip and don't forget, a thumbs up is gonna help us a lot if you like what we're doing here. Thanks a lot. Alright, so we have the Asus Transformer Prime over here on our left, and next to it there is the new Apple iPad 3. First of all, we're going to have a quick look at the exterior. On the Asus, you get this metallic cover. It looks good. It has this concentric circles design, a little bit too ostentatious for some, including me, but overall the build quality is very good. On the iPad, you get the classic aluminum body, the unibody design that was patented with the first iPad. It looks very good. You have the black version over here. Probably know there is another one with a wide bezel. So overall, very good build quality for both of them. One thing you should know, on the iPad you have very sharp edges over here. So if you're going to hold it like this for a while, it's going to be quite hurtful for your palms. While on this one, the edges, while still sharp, are a little bit rounder, but in both cases, if you're going to use them for a longer period of time, I advise you to get a proper case. It's gonna help you, and overall the device is going to be much more comfortable to hold in hands. In terms of size, probably going to notice that the iPad is okay like this. The iPad is slightly wider, slightly shorter as well, while in terms of thickness, well, probably not going to notice any difference right now, but the pictures that will be added to the written comparison will show you that there is a difference. 8mm, around 8mm for the Asus, around 9.4mm in thickness for the Apple iPad. Also, the Asus is slightly lighter as well. Not really going to notice this when using it daily because both are actually a bit too heavy to comfortable use with only one hand, but still 1.3 pounds for the Asus Transformer Prime, 1.43 for 1.45 around there for the new iPad. So this is definitely thicker and heavier than the Transformer Prime, and as you probably know, thinner and thicker and heavier than the previous generation iPad as well. Now, having a quick look at the ports, going to notice a couple of things. So first of all, on the bottom, both of them have the docking connector. Proprietary docking connectors in both cases, and the Transformer also has these latches that will allow you to transform this, to attach this to the docking station. Besides those, on this one, on this side, you also have a micro SD card, you also have a mini or micro HDMI, volume rocker, power button on top, and of course you have the speaker grill over here. While on the iPad you only have the volume rocker, power button, and of course this latch that will help you lock the screen or mute the device based on what you're going to set it. The speaker over here, but no mic, no kind of HDMI output, no USB, no kind of extension like on this Asus, no kind of micro SD cards. So basically more ports and more useful ports on the Transformer Prime. And that's not all of it. For the Prime you also get this, the docking station, of course. Using the docking station, you can get the Prime, attach it to the docking station. It's fairly simple to do this, just put it in place and press it. And now you get a mini computer. It looks like this. It's thin, it's fairly light, and it's solid. The back of this is also made from metal, has this rubber feet, feels very good. Brings you a couple of extra ports, like the full-size SD card reader and the full-size USB slot. Inside, you get a keyboard. It's a fairly decent keyboard. Of course, it's not a full-size keyboard because this is just a 10-inch device. You also have a trackpad. I'm not really fond of the trackpad actually, but still, it's quite good. The keyboard is designed with Android in mind. You have all these features over here attached to the keyboard, and for instance, you can go ahead and play something, or you can adjust screen brightness and all this kind of things over here. So pretty interesting and pretty useful keys on this keyboard. One more thing, there's a battery inside this keyboard. Probably know the battery is going to be used to recharge your tablet when the docking is connected. It shows you right here in the corner that right now the battery inside this docking station is it's recharging the battery in the tablet. So this is quite good. When you have it connected, it's also going to be recharged. This kind of accessory you don't really get on the iPad. Of course, there are keyboard docks for the iPad. Logitech has some. They're very good. The keyboard is comfortable, but you don't get the extras. You don't get the ports, you don't get the battery. So overall, if you're going to need a keyboard on your tablet, Transformer Prime offers it for you. The iPad, not that much. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the screens, also going to talk about the hardware and the performances in the next section of this comparison. So you get a standard 10.1-inch display on the Transformer Prime 1280 by 800 pixel resolution, while on this one, on the new iPad, you have the 9.7-inch screen with a Retina resolution. So it's 2048 by 1536 pixel, and this resolution is actually very good. You're going to notice the difference when trying to read texts, navigating through websites, basically when trying to reproduce very fine details, crisp images. With those, the screen on this is actually very capable. The standard screen, well, it's decent, but it's not as good in terms of fine details. Of course, on the Android market, there will be full HD tablets later this year, and by then we will be able to compare the screen on the iPad on the iPad 3 with the screen on the future Transformer Infinity. Right now, there's actually no comparison between this one and this one for, like I said, fine details. For watching movies, for basic gaming and stuff like this, you're not really going to see such a big difference. But for reading text, reading books, websites, things like this, you will. One more thing, this one is an IPS Plus panel, and because of that, it's brighter than the screen you get on the iPad 3. And when you activate IPS Plus, you're going to notice that the screen becomes very bright, and it should be useful when trying to use this device outdoor. Otherwise, it's going to be okay when used indoor. Both of them are going to be okay. However, in terms of colors, I really like the colors on this one on the iPad 3, and professional tests also show that the colors on the iPad 3 are way better. It's a better color accuracy and a wider color gamut. And I'm just going to show you a quick image here. You notice that I have the same image loaded. Probably not going to see a big difference over here. Let's go ahead and see if we will be able to find the same image. Okay, this image with multiple. And there is a difference. Probably not going to be able to notice it on this camera. It's not the best camera, but I'm telling you, the colors on this one are actually better. Of course, some will say that the screen on the iPad 3 is yellower. I don't think it is. I mean, not on my device. On some other devices it might be, but it helps you reproduce much warmer colors, and that's a very good thing, I'd say, if you consider that color quality is something you should have on your device. Now, in terms of hardware, quad-core Tegra 3 processor on this one, dual-core Apple i5X processor on that one. In synthetic tests, the platform on the Apple is theoretically faster, but on everyday use, both are very good. Of course, it's tough to compare the two platforms because you have different software. Android 4.0 for this one, iOS for that one, and you know that the overall experience is way smoother on the iPad. Apps don't crash that often, and the overall experience is slightly better. Everything reacts the way it should. But on the other hand, iOS is very simplistic. For this one, you have notifications, you have widgets, you have all these things, and overall it still works pretty good. Sometimes it lags, it happens, you have to restart it. Sometimes apps crash. Apps crash on the iOS device as well, but not as often as on iPad machines. Still, I mean, you have the pros and you have the cons. Not going to get into the whole Android versus iOS debate. Those were just some of the things I wanted to tell you about them. And there's actually one more thing, and that's the apps. On this one, you have very good you get very good Google apps, Gmail, Maps, I don't know, YouTube. These are very good. Browser is very good, supports Flash, supports scripts, all these kinds of things. On this one, the native Google apps are decent, but they're not that good. And the browser is alright, it's loading sites very fast, but it doesn't support Flash. Still, when you go to third-party apps, on the App Store is very easy to actually get applications for the iPad. You can have them over here. You can see that you have separated apps for the iPad. You don't have the apps for the iPad and the apps for the iPhone mixed together. While on this one, it's very difficult to find them. Plus, sometimes the results are not going to be that good. So the overall quality of third-party applications, it's better on the iPad, and it's probably going to be for a while. Those are just some of the things you should know when comparing the two operating systems. For a more thorough review, of course, you should see the dedicated clips that's gonna speak about Android versus iOS. Okay, should also tell you a couple of other things. For instance, should talk about wireless, battery, and of course about the prices in the next section of this comparison. You probably know by now that the Transformer Prime has some problems when it comes to wireless and GPS strength. Because it's made from metal, the antennas can't really work to their full potential, and sometimes, especially if you're going to go a bit further away from the router, you will have problems with the wireless. As for the GPS, it's very laggy. It takes a lot of time for it to catch any signal, and even if you're going to take it outside, it's still not going to work very good. On the other hand, on the iPad, because you have this thing, you have the plastic iPad logo on the back, the antenna is placed behind it. So the metallic body doesn't screen the signal. So overall the quality is way better. I haven't had any issues with the Wi-Fi quality on this machine. However, I've heard some iPad buyers that said they had issues with their Wi-Fi antennas inside their new iPads. Apple said they will replace those devices in the US. Not really sure what's happening outside of the US, in the other countries when the iPad, where the iPad is already selling. You probably should contact the local Apple dealer and ask about those. As for the GPS, there's no GPS inside the Wi-Fi only version of the iPad. If you want GPS, you're going to go for the 3G, 4G LTE version of this device, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work fine, but it's only on those devices. I should also tell you a couple of things about the battery life. You have a 25 watt-hour battery on the Transformer Prime, and if I reckon correctly, about a 42 watt-hour battery on the iPad. The new iPad has this big battery because the new screen requires a lot of energy. It's very big, and because of that it takes a lot of time for it to charge. It's about 5+ hours for it to charge. I leave it over the night because of that. On this one it charges much faster, and overall, if you're going to compare the two, the Transformer Prime actually offers the better battery life. You get about 8-9 hours of life for daily use on this one, on the Transformer Prime, On the iPad you get up to 8, about 7 to 8, something like this, which is still good, but it's not as good as you got on the previous generation. And it's the same when trying to play a video clip. 10 plus hours for this one, up to 11 hours, about up to 10 for this one. So overall, slightly better battery life for the Transformer Prime. And one more thing, when using the device, this one tends to get hot. The bottom, this part tends to get a bit hot. I don't have an issue because I use it with the case, with the leather case, and because of that, I don't really feel all this extra warmth that you get on the body. But if you're using it like this, bare naked, you're going to feel that, and it might be a little bit disturbing. Same thing doesn't happen on the Transformer Prime. So those are just some of the differences. Should also talk about the prices. $499 for the cheapest iPad 3, $559 right now for the cheapest Transformer Prime. However, the cheapest Transformer Prime is the 32GB Wi-Fi only version, while the cheapest iPad is the 16GB. The 32GB Wi-Fi only version is about $599, so theoretically it's a little bit more expensive. One more thing, on this one you can also buy 4G LTE versions, while on the Prime you don't have any kind of 3G or 4G options. Just going to stick with the Wi-Fi available option over here. Plus, if you want the docking, you're going to have to pay about $150 extra for all the goodies provided by that accessory. In the end, each of these tablets has its pros and cons, and you're going to find out more about those in the final part of our video review that's going to offer you some conclusions on the Transformer Prime versus the iPad 3 comparison. Alright, this pretty much sums up this video comparison. You saw that there are lots of things to like about these two tablets. Each has its pros, each has its cons. I can't tell you which one is better, that's up to you to decide. I've showed you what I like about both of them. However, one thing keeping me away from the Transformer Prime right now is the fact that it doesn't have a full HD display, and it will be replaced with the Transformer Infinity that will bring that exact feature. Plus it will be slightly faster, so overall the experience should be a little bit improved. Still, they're both very good devices, you can choose between them based on your needs. So if you have any other questions, don't forget the comment list is below, just post them, I'll try to answer. That's it for now. Don't forget as well a like and a thumbs up, it's gonna help us a lot. And you could also subscribe if you like what we're doing here. Thank you, that was Mike with the iPad 3 and the Transformer Prime. Thanks a lot for watching.